All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me a touch on the top prop bets for the Masters in round 2, as well as getting into the NBA and MLB prop bets for the day. Let's go in and get into it. So yesterday, if anyone watched the live stream, ended up being a pretty tilting day. 3 of the fantasy score prop bets that we were on for MLB missed by 0.5. Very close to being a big day, but it wasn't. It ended up being a bad day because those missed. Obviously, that'll happen. That's part of the roller coaster ride of prop betting, if you will. But PGA-wise, pretty solid. Looks like it's going to be a good day. Maybe on both sites, we got some greens and regulations props for Jordan and Collin Morikawa that are going to be close, where they both could end up middling, which would be awesome. But it does seem like it's going to be a good day on Underdog, just in general. Looking at it today, guys, we are getting some potential edges as well. So looking at the board right now, the only issue that I have is a lot of these prop bets are being favored as pushes, which I really don't see it that way. I really think that these ones, especially like where Underdog already has them a little bit higher, I do feel comfortable betting the over here. Like Collin Morikawa to get over 3 birdies or better. I like the fact that Underdog is telling us it has about a 3.54% likelihood to hit. And let's just say you wanted to use something like DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm very hesitant to like tell people to use the lines for golf specifically, because they're not as good as really any other sport, because there's so many other different factors that go in there. These are just kind of general numbers that they toss out there. But we can see for someone like Scottie, they have him projected to get 4.5 birdies. So chances are he's going to get to 4 birdies. Now, yes, the likelihood of him getting over that is, they're saying it's not as likely, but it's a good chance for him to get 4. And I know the weather is supposed to get a little bit worse as the day progresses, but I kind of like Scottie to get over 4 birdies or better. You can see Underdog has it set at 4.5. Kind of the same thing when it's at that prop line difference, but I like the fact that on PrizePicks this can be a push. And we look at some of these other lines that we are getting. Collin Morikawa at 3 again. I think that's a good line. Sergio, I probably don't need to bet that one, but like Corey Connors to get over 3 birdies or better, I feel like that's a very good prop bet as well. Tommy Fleetwood to get over 3 birdies or better, that's a good prop bet as well. And then again, guys, if we go ahead and like into the DraftKings Sportsbook, we're going to see some prop bets like Xander Schauffele to get over 3.5 birdies as minus 150. Victor Hovland minus 165. And so I'm not saying like you guys have to use that stuff, but I think it's important to just note that, like Joaquin Niemann minus 175 to get 3.5 birdies or better. Cameron Smith minus 175 to get over 3.5 birdies or better. So I do think that is still noteworthy. And I do think it's worth calling out. They were better about just this, the birdies or better, more so than the strokes. The strokes were not good DraftKings Sportsbook wise yesterday. And then just real quickly, some edges that I do like. If you're going to bet Corey Connors for over birdies or better, you could just do that for him against Stefan Jaeger. Definitely don't mind that one. Let's see here. Matt Fitzpatrick over Russell Henley. Not exactly one that I like. The one that I probably like the most for birdie or better matchups is actually going to be Hatton over Sungjae Im. Sungjae Im just had a terrible round 1, and I kind of just expect him to pack it up in round 2 and really not give a good, honest effort there. So you could just do Sungjae Im under birdies or better against Adam Hadwin as well. That'd be another route that you can go. So let's just show you guys a bet of the day for... Well, we'll show you guys Underdog real quick as well. So Underdog, they're not giving us any fantasy score prop bets today, or that many good fantasy score prop bets, I should say. They are giving them to us, but not as many as I would like. And what's interesting here is that for someone like Sam Burns, this line is so much lower. So I kind of don't mind the idea of going with Sam Burns over fantasy score, Tiger Woods over fantasy score. But these other ones where it's telling us to bet the under, I mean, those are very high numbers. Those, like, they have to get their 4.5 birdies or better, like the data is saying. But the weather could play more difficult in round 2 for the Masters. So I don't really want to attack those too much. Now, Tiger for over 2.5 birdies or better in round 2, you could roll with. I worry about Tiger, guys, just in the sense that today he's having to finish up his round 1 and then play his round 2. The biggest worry with Tiger has always been fatigue, so that is a little bit of a concern to me. And so real quickly, get into a bet of the day for both sites. For the Masters, then I'll begin to MLB and NBA for you guys. So I actually did decide to go with Hovland and Zalatoris for under their fantasy score. If you look at it, they played much, much better than expected in round 1 and round 2. That was probably, or in round 1, that was probably their outlier for this tournament, was round 1. Now they are good players, big name players, but they are 2 players that haven't been playing consistently thus far this season. So chances are they probably will not have as good of a round 2, because they had such a good round one. That's just the typical regression we see in golf. I personally think betting Scottie to get under 4.5 birdies or better is risky, but we did see that DraftKings Sportsbook line. I'm going to be betting his over on PrizePicks, full disclosure, for over 4 birdies. So that's a slight way of hedging. If you guys just want to run these two out, you could just do that as well. And then looking at PrizePicks, this is going to be what I'm looking at. Again, a lot of these will probably end up being pushes. We're kind of live with that. So this could end up being like a 2 for 2 instead of a 4 for 4, just because they're mostly being valued as pushes, but I'm kind of okay with that today. Now, we probably will get some chances for some middling opportunities as the day progresses between PrizePicks and Underdog. Right now, the course is playing easy because the weather isn't too crazy. It's supposed to pick up later on in the day, and I think that'll create some prop line differences between PrizePicks and Underdog. So now let's go ahead and jump into the MLB. We are getting some good prop bets there as well. And so just looking at it, guys, just right off the board, we are getting a bunch of good hitting fantasy score prop bets, especially when you compare it against Underdog. So like right away, William Contreras for over 6.5 for a fantasy score. That's a big edge compared to Underdog. Corey Seager over fantasy score. That's a big edge. Jordan, I'm pretty sure I butchered that. Alvarez for over 7.5 hitting fantasy score. That's a good edge compared to Underdog. Marcus Semien for over his fantasy score. That's a good edge compared to Underdog. And then Aaron Judge for over fantasy score. That's another good edge compared to Underdog. And then we got one more as well. De La Cruz, we're finally getting him for over fantasy score as well. So we have a bunch of like good bets, especially in comparison to Underdog today. I really like the idea of taking advantage of that. Got a good pitching strikeout prop here as well. Under pitching strikeouts for Peralta. So yeah, guys, we're getting some big edges here. And so real quickly, running out a 5-slip bet today for the over hitting fantasy score prop bets. You know, pretty good edges that we saw on this one. So I mean, if you don't like any of these lines, obviously you could just bet the under on Underdog, because I mean that's part of the appeal here, is that especially in comparison to Underdog, we are getting a pretty good edge with these prop bets. And so on Underdog, a little bit more of a straightforward board, I would say, but we got a lot of over fantasy score prop bets, which does has me kind of worried. That's a weird thing, but a lot of just fantasy score prop bets in general for Underdog today. So I'm going to keep it simple, just show you guys the bet I'm running out currently. Could change throughout the day, but I mean, I'm basically just going with the top 5 bets that we have here, and actually that's what I'm doing. It's these top 5 bets. So like the bet of the day would just be all of these top 5 ones. So Rizzo, Ward, Buxton, Marte, and Rendon for over their fantasy score. Okay, that's going to be the bet of the day. That's an insured slip, just as an FYI. Then real quickly, we'll jump into NBA. NBA, as it sits right now, we are getting a lot of decent edges compared to how Vegas thinks and what the PrizePicks lines are currently and Underdog lines are currently. But at the same time, I think we're going to get more throughout the day, you know, once we get those fantasy score prop bets as well. So be on the lookout for that. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys want access to the 9to5sports.com PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheets, head on over to 9to5sports.com. If you guys want to use one of those Underdog slips and have never signed up, use the promo code 9to5. That's going to help kick back some money to the channel. Appreciate that. But that's going to be all for today's video, guys. Good luck today. Hopefully you guys have a good Masters round 2 as well as a good day MLB wise today. That's going to be all. Thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.